Hello again, everybody, and happy Friday. We're back for another English lesson about our book called Journey, which I have really enjoyed learning about with you. So today we're going to show our understanding of the new vocabulary that we looked at yesterday. So they're all of the new and exciting adjectives that we looked at, like dreary, mischievous, ancient. We looked at some other words as well, and we're going to use those words by writing a setting description today to describe a particular scene from the picture book. And this is a really special book because, like we talked about in school, this book doesn't have any words, so it's just pictures. So it would be really nice for us to write a setting description to describe what we can see in the book. So we're going to be writing a setting description for this picture here from the book. Let me see if I can find it in the book as well to show you. Here it is. So it's the scene where Rebecca is flying on her magical red carpet and she's flying over the ancient city. So we're going to be focusing on this picture here, and we're going to be describing what we can see, what we can hear, and what we can feel. So I'd like you to pause the video maybe for around 1 or 2 minutes, and either on a piece of paper or just in your head, can you write down what you can see, what you think you'd be able to hear if you were here, and what you think you'd be able to feel if you were there. Off you go. Okay, so hopefully you've had a little go at creating a list or thinking of some ideas in your head. I've also had a go at creating my own list as well. So describing what I can see in the picture, I wrote down that I can see some fluffy white clouds. I can see the red carpet. I can also see a flying white bird, some ancient buildings, the fierce guards around down here, some tall trees in the background outside, a busy town, there seems to be a lot of people, and some domed towers. And the domed towers are also different sizes, I've noticed. In terms of what we can hear, I think you might be able to hear the wind blowing, especially when she's whooshing on her magical carpet. Probably hear people talking below her, maybe footsteps in the market stall. And then things that she might feel is the blazing hot sun on her body. She might feel the soft grainy sand as she was walking along, and the wind blowing against her face as well. So hopefully you've got a similar list, and you might have even thought of more things that I didn't spot. So we're going to use these ideas today to write a setting description, and I have already had a go at writing a setting description, which I'm going to read to you first, and then we're going to see if we can spot any adjectives in the text. So I'm going to read it to you first, and then we're going to highlight some of the words together. So you're listening carefully. As I stepped through the door, I could see a busy town full of people. The town was surrounded by a thick bricked wall, and it had tall, domed towers. There were so many beautiful buildings, and they were all different shapes and sizes. In front of some of the buildings there were fierce-looking guards holding weapons and wearing shiny armour. I stepped further through the door. As I did, I could feel the blazing hot sun on my face, and I gently put my foot on the ground, and the sand was boiling hot between my toes. As I breathed in, I could smell the fresh pineapple and the sweet mangoes from the fruit stall at the market. It made me starving. So that is my attempt at a setting description to describe the picture. So I'd like you to pause the video now, and then together we're going to highlight and see if we can spot some of the adjectives that we looked at in yesterday's lesson. And I also want to see if you can spot any other adjectives as well. So have a look and see if you can find them. Okay, let's get our highlighter out ready to highlight some adjectives. So as I stepped through the door, I could see a busy town full of people. It's describing the town as busy. There are a lot of people there. The town was surrounded by thick bricked walls. Remember, if something is thick, it's the opposite of thin. So thick bricked wall. And it had tall domed towers. Can you spot any of the words that we looked at yesterday? I can spot the word domed. Can you remember what it means if something's domed? See if you can show me the shape if something's domed. So if something's domed, it's this shape, and it means that it's a building in the shape of a dome. So it had tall, domed towers. There were so many beautiful buildings, and they were all different shapes and sizes. In front of some of the buildings, there were fierce-looking guards, holding weapons and wearing shiny armour. I stepped through the door. As I did, I could feel the blazing sun on my face. That's another word that we looked at yesterday. Can you remember what it means if something's blazing? Show me the action that we said. If something's blazing, it's very, very hot. She could feel the blazing sun on her face. I gently put my foot on the ground, and the sand was boiling hot between my toes. As I breathed in, I could smell the fresh pineapple and sweet mangoes from the fruit stall at the market. It made me starving. So we have got a huge range of different adjectives that we have used in the setting description, and I can spot some of the words that we looked at yesterday. So your task is to write your own setting description, and I would love for you to use some of that new vocabulary, such as domed or blazing, in your setting description, as well as ancient possibly as well. I didn't get that one into my setting description. So you're going to have a scaffold sheet that looks like this to support you with your writing. So I'd like you to write 3 paragraphs, just like I did, to break it down into the 3 different sections for your setting description. So my first paragraph was about what I could see, then what we could feel, and then about what they could smell. So they are going to be the same 3 paragraphs that you're going to write today. So I have put the first sentence on here for you. As I stepped through the door, I could see. And then these words are words that you might choose to use in your setting description. They're words that I picked out that might be a little bit tricky to spell, or words that I would like you to try and use. So for example, you might say, as I stepped through the door, I could see a busy town full of people. I could see beautiful domed buildings which towered above the people in the town. So I've tried to use some of the words within this box here. You might also want to say, as I stepped through the door, I could see fierce-looking guards wearing silver, shiny armour charging towards me. So have a think about how you could do this first paragraph. You might want to write 1 or 2 or even 3 sentences for that first paragraph. Because if we go back to my example, this is my first paragraph. So I've described the town, I described the different buildings I could see, and I described the fierce looking guards. So I chose 3 things to describe in that first paragraph, so you could have a go at doing the same. Then the second paragraph, I stepped further through the door, and I could feel the blazing hot sun beaming onto my skin. I put my foot down onto the soft grainy sand, and I could feel it burning between my toes. So thinking about what you might be able to feel. You might want to see if you could write your own sentence about how you might feel if you could feel the wind as you were whooshing on your magic carpet. And then the last paragraph, we've got words like pineapple, fresh, mangoes, sweet, and coconuts. For example, you might say, as I breathed in, I could smell the sweet scent of delicious fruit from the market stall. So it's up to you how you'd like to write your 3 paragraphs today. There are some words there to help you, and then I'd like you to split it up into the 3 sections that you can see on the screen. So I'm going to save this scaffold sheet as well onto the website so that you can use it. And then I'd love to read through some of your setting descriptions, making sure that we use exciting adjectives, and your challenge is to use as many of those new words that we learned yesterday. Okay? Excellent, and happy writing.